And so they were able to train at home with their clubs for a couple months. And then when everyone went back in November after Thanksgiving, a lot of them started to train with their clubs at home. And, you know, as things kind of ramped up a little bit, a lot of programs kind of, you know, closed down. But for the most part, people did some swimming for the month of December. When we came back in January, so for some, we were able to kind of build off of like what they did at home, like on other people who didn't have access. It's like starting from scratch. So we kind of have a mixed kind of array of fitness levels right now. We've been swimming for about a month, and you know, people are starting to look good again, but a lot of people haven't raced since a year ago, you know, in February, because things are shut down. So, you know, the racing part is the tricky part, because, you know, racing's, you know, a skill, and, you know, you have to kind of stay sharp. Yeah, I mean, you can train forever, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're ready to race. So we've been trying to do that a little bit like the last week, without sacrificing too much of our, you know, aerobic stuff. And yeah, I think they're mentally, I think they're probably a little bit, you know, apprehensive about it because they're wondering where they are, but I think they're excited to kind of feel like, wow, this is sort of normal again. I think there'll definitely be like an undertone of excitement. I mean, the meet is going to be set up a lot differently. You know, both teams are actually going to sit in the balcony, and they're going to get, you know, kind of like called down to the blocks to race, you know, rather than, you know, everybody on deck and a bunch of chaos and cheering. And, you know, I don't really see that part happening. You know, I was excited to hear that Murph is going to stream this, because I think there's a lot of parents that are, you know, nervous about how their kids are doing, and it'll be nice to actually see them, you know, competing and having fun. And I think it'll be good for the parents and, you know, people who watch us as well. But I think overall they're going to be, you know, pretty excited. Well, I mean, like, as I said, Anna Metzler is, she was home since October. So she came back in pretty good shape. She had to quarantine here, you know, coming in from Germany when we first got back. So she missed a week. But one of the things that we're gonna take a shot at is, you know, she qualified for NCAA's last year. She was seeded 19th in the country in the 400 IM, and because they canceled NCAA, she didn't have a chance to go. This year they're still having NCAA's, which is in the middle of March, because our conference championships have been pushed to April. We don't really have an opportunity for her to like be at a high profile meet like a conference championship to try to qualify, but we're going to give it a shot on Saturday. So she's kind of resting a little bit. She's going to suit up in a technical suit, which, you know, for the most part, you only use those at you know, big meets. And she's going to try to qualify for NCAA's in the 400 IM and the 200 IM. So we've kind of built the meet around that. So she's feeling pretty good in the water. We'll see if she can pull out a time that's, you know, in the ballpark of last year. And if she can, I think she'll get invited. You know, that's like in the middle of March. So we'll see how things go towards that. But I think it's something to kind of, you know, build the meet around and get excited for. And then, you know, all of her teammates will be there, and hopefully that'll inspire some good swims out of everyone else. She's super dedicated and goal oriented. She's real smart, and has a good kind of sense of awareness for, you know, how she's doing and how she's feeling. So, you know, I can get a lot of info from her to help design sets for her and, you know, kind of gear the training to what she needs. She's very, very competitive and driven. So I think, you know, that those are some things. I mean, aside from just like her talent, she's, you know, she's really overall the best swimmer we've ever had here at UNH. So we're excited to see how the freshmen do. It's, you know, it's what's been really weird is that, you know, like I said, we were just doing dry land and, you know, a lot of running. So, I mean, January was the first time I actually got to see some of these freshmen in the water other than, you know, on video when I recruited them or a meet, you know, I may have seen them at. So trying to assess, you know, their talent and where they can go, you know, based on, you know, how fit they were, has been kind of a little tricky, but they've been doing pretty well in the water. I think Abby McKinney has been kind of standing out a little bit in practice with some of her short stuff. You know, so I see some sprint events for her doing, and Olivia Stilla, who is from Sweden. She's a sophomore this year, and we did a little meet, kind of like an intra-squad time trial last weekend, and you know, Olivia did real well in that. So I think there's a few sprinklings of surprises that we might have, you know, this weekend. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, I think so. What we've done this meet, we actually eliminated the 1,000. So our distance swimmers really won't have that meet to compete at. So the 500 will probably be the longest they do. It'll be interesting because Jamie Lum, who is another sophomore who had she was Rookie of the Year last season for America East. She's getting in pretty good shape right now. So, I mean, I think the breaststrokes will be strong, the IMs, because Anna will be in those will be strong. And, you know, we'll see where people's freestyle is right now. I mean, we've been training. The way we're trying to approach it is like generally the fall we'll have, you know, we go September, October, and then towards the end of November, so 2.5, 3 months, we have that invitational. Usually we go to the BU invite at, you know, right before Thanksgiving. So we're trying to form our season on that kind of a path. And April is where America East is right now, is kind of where our BU invite would be in the fall. So we're just trying to take this, you know, half of January, February, and March, and just kind of gear those 3 months towards April, and, you know, kind of pack the whole season into one little chunk of time. So, you know, we're going to try to train through the meets because we don't really have time to, you know, rest or go up and down, you know, yardage wise before meets. We're just going to swim through and just aim to, you know, be ready for, you know, the third week in April. I think that's the plan right now. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And like, I think this year has been our most challenging because, you know, we had one of the best seasons we've ever had since I've been at UNH last season. I mean, I think we won almost every award at our championships individually and team and records, and, you know, to kind of have it just all like disappear and not have access to building on that momentum has been really challenging. And, you know, I know how many freshmen came this year ready to go and, you know, join that team that did all those great things. And, you know, it's been hard having our hands tied through, you know, the pandemic and stuff. But, you know, we try to really focus long-term and think about, you know, next season as well. And, you know, we have 8 freshmen coming in next year. We're only graduating 2 swimmers. So we're trying to get balance, getting through this season well and using some of this season to build on next. You know, I feel lucky. I mean, you know, I've had opportunity to do, you know, some good stuff here, and, you know, we have had some amazing swimmers, and, it's been nice because, through, Instagram and through, some of the newsletters we do, a lot of the swimmers, who are now graduated and married and having kids and all of that are following us and, really still participating as alums. So that's really cool. I mean, well, I think this is Meg Carroll's last year. She's graduating early. And she's healthy, so she's doing well. We're excited about the freshmen. I think Kira Moon is a freshman, as well as Hannah Weatherby, and they posted a little video on Instagram the other day, and I haven't had a chance to watch too many diving practices just because we're trying to keep them as a separate pod. But seeing what they're doing on video with just a short amount of time is really good. They were able, diving is a little different because the water is really like incidental to their training. So the fall they were able to do, they have a lot of them have gymnastics backgrounds, and they were able to do a lot of like body control stuff and training that, prep them for, diving a little bit more, or kept their feel a little bit better than, the swimmers were able to. So I think they're good to go. I'm excited to see how they do.